The United States is the wealthiest and most powerful country on Earth today, but looking back 500 years, that rise to the top was incredibly unexpected. Most of the North American continent was entirely ignored by the rest of the world for well over a century. This 16th century map shows early explorers like Columbus were entirely focused on finding a path to Asia. When Spanish conquerors arrived, they cared exclusively about the southern lands where gold and large populations were located, leaving the northern half completely blank. Even the British dragged their feet. They waited nearly 100 years after their European rivals to attempt a colony in North America, and their very first settlement at Roanoke mysteriously vanished without a single survivor. When the colonists finally did secure a foothold and declare independence, their new nation was rapidly failing. The 13 original states operated like 13 disconnected, arguing mini-nations, barely united in anything but their name. America did not possess some 400-year master plan for global dominance. Its journey to becoming a superpower was an accidental chain reaction of crises and pure opportunism. The first major domino in that chain reaction actually started with a European proxy fight. In 1754, the French and Indian War was fought over North American territory, and while the British Empire won, the conflict left them deeply in debt. To balance their books, the British government decided to extract the costs of that military campaign directly from the American colonies through a sudden series of heavy taxes. The colonists refused to pay taxes without a vote in Parliament, and that specific financial grievance erupted into the violent backlash of the American Revolution. Winning the war, however, created a massive structural problem. The utter dysfunction of the newly independent states forced the Founding Fathers to write an entirely new constitution, finally establishing a centralized federal system that actually functioned. The unified American government emerged as a direct, practical solution to the financial fallout of a European war. This animated map of the early U.S. borders shows a nation ready to expand. With a working government in place, the Americans capitalized on European chaos. Napoleon desperately needed cash to fight Britain, so he sold a massive territory, the Louisiana Purchase, to the U.S. for a mere $15 million. That land arrived right on time to solve a massive demographic crisis. The average American family had 7 children, and that exploding population required a rapid absorption of new territory just to survive. This relentless push westward caused American settlers to overflow directly into Mexican-controlled Texas. After outnumbering the locals, the settlers broke away to form an independent republic and quickly requested annexation by the United States. Absorbing Texas created immediate border friction that escalated into a war with Mexico. When the shooting stopped, the U.S. handed over $15 million and took the entire northern half of Mexico at gunpoint. This massive influx of real estate forced a dormant question to surface. Would the new territories be built on free labor or the brutal economy of slavery? Every new acre added to the map made a peaceful compromise less likely. The election of Abraham Lincoln served as the final breaking point. Fearing his presidency would end the expansion of slavery, Southern states seceded from the Union, triggering the massive death toll of the Civil War. The reckless speed of this expansion broke the nation's political stability. The Civil War was the physical manifestation of a country that had acquired more land than its laws could handle. After the North emerged victorious and the slaves were freed, the newly centralized and battle-tested federal government immediately resumed its aggressive outward expansion. When Russia decided to offload Alaska, the United States executed a midnight purchase, acquiring the massive Northern Territory for the bargain price of just over $7 million. Around the same time, the sudden discovery of gold out west triggered a massive influx of prospectors, effectively locking down California and securing the Pacific edge of the continent. The government even utilized bizarre legal loopholes, like the Guano Islands Act, which allowed citizens to arbitrarily claim random, unclaimed Pacific islands simply to harvest bird droppings for fertilizer. Through a combination of luck, cash purchases, and sheer military force, America secured its continental destiny in just 50 years. The only place left to expand was off the continent entirely. Entering the 20th century, a heavily industrialized America faced a final historical pivot: stay isolated at home or aggressively step out to protect its global economic interests. A mysterious explosion on a U.S. warship in Cuba provided the perfect excuse. The United States quickly blamed Spain, went to war, and dismantled the remnants of their empire. This triggered an aggressive imperial land grab. The U.S. captured Cuba, Puerto Rico, and the Philippines, while specifically annexing Hawaii to serve as a deep-water Pacific naval base. A few years later, President Theodore Roosevelt blatantly supported a local rebellion in Panama for the sole purpose of securing a narrow strip of land for the United States. That land became the Panama Canal, an industrial marvel that allowed the U.S. Navy to seamlessly project its power back and forth between two oceans. It is the ultimate historical irony. America began as a neglected colony that violently rebelled against European imperialism. Yet, by utilizing that exact same playbook of warfare and territorial conquest, they secured their position as the world's dominant power, right in time for World War I.